My pet zombie evolves into a stunning warrior. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 16. But then he thought of another point: the system would not issue some useless rewards. Perhaps this special clothing for spirit pets is of some use to Shueyo. Ding. Mission released, 100 bone slash, destroy 100 skeleton soldiers, currently 0 of 100, complete the mission, and you can directly upgrade the spirit pet level by 1 level. Before Ye Ling came back to his senses, the system issued a new mission again. This time, there were 2 tasks at once, and the reward for the second mission was also not low. It can actually directly upgrade 1 level, but the difficulty is a little bit higher. To destroy 100 skeleton soldiers, this is not 100 skeleton soldiers. Compared with the burial mounds full of skeleton soldiers are more common when they are a little deeper. At present, there are not so many skeleton soldiers in these places. However, it is only 100 skeleton soldiers, and it is not a big deal to spend a little effort. As long as Shueyo's level is raised, the subsequent battles will be even easier. When Shueyo solved the skeleton sergeant just now, the experience value increased by 1%. Compared with the skeleton soldiers, the skeleton sergeant gave significantly more experience points. There is motivation only when there is pressure, and Ye Ling hopes that there will be more tasks. At the same time, this large group of skeletons has already rushed to not far in front of Shueyo. Among them, the remaining 2 skeleton sergeants rushed to the front, and the remaining skeleton soldiers followed closely behind. Shueyo's face did not fluctuate. Shueyo, crazy blood. Facing so many skeletons, Ye Ling did not dare to delay at all. Directly ordered Shueyo to activate the crazy blood skill. After receiving the order, Shueyo activated her crazy blood instantly without any hesitation. At a speed visible to the naked eye, Shueyo's pale skin gradually turned red. This scene was like the blood in the body boiling. And the fact is indeed so, the zombie blood in Shueyo's body is boiling. When the crazy blood is activated, Shueyo will gradually suffer self-damage, constantly improving his speed and strength. A faint blood aura even appeared around Shueyo. Even Huasyaner, who had been observing, was shocked. If Shueyo's extremely fierce attack just now to eliminate a skeleton soldier has already shocked Huasyaner, then now the momentum suddenly changed, and Shueyo looked even more powerful. Huasyaner even had a faint sense of oppression. This feeling should not appear in her. Of course, it is not to say that the earth blue dragon in Huasyaner's hand is not as good as Shueyo, but this sense of oppression comes from Ye Ling. You know, a useless spiritual pet like a zombie is destined to have no great achievements in the future. But now Ye Ling has changed this law. Although it is not known whether Ye Ling's zombie is a mutant, it is undoubtedly a zombie anyway. As a child of destiny, Huasyaner felt that the pressure on her was much greater. Although the strength of this special zombie pet in Shui Ye Ling's hand might not be as strong as that of Deep Song Long, its growth rate was already very terrifying. If he was given some more time, he might become stronger than Deep Song Long. Huasyaner would not allow herself to slack off after this incident. Huasyaner was also ready to seize these few days to practice well. She must find a way to make Deep Song Long reach a higher level. Only in this way would she have a greater chance of entering the top Ye Ling Academy. You should know that Ye Ling Academy recruits students from all over the Federation, and each city has a certain quota limit. Needless to say, the grades should be taken from high to low. Although Huasyaner was very confident in her assessment, she did not want to be ranked behind. If she had to take the exam, she had to find a way to get in with the first place, which would be the most advantageous. Back on the battlefield, Shueyu exuded blood all over her body. Not only did her skin become red, but even her eyes were also slightly red. Swoosh! Shueyu took the initiative to meet him. In this situation, of course, you can't wait for the opponent to surround you and wait for death. If you want to find a way to break through the opponent's formation, the best way is to get rid of one of the skeleton soldiers first. Then it will be much easier to face the remaining skeletons. Ye Ling was on the bone hill, ready to give Shueyu his own orders at any time, saying that he was waiting for the opportunity when Shueyu needed help. Not only that, you should know that the spirit master can not only operate the spirit pet, but also use spirit skills. Spirit skills can help the spirit master defend, escape, attack, etc. In the battle in the game, use spiritual skills unexpectedly. It may even turn a disadvantageous battle situation around. Especially when facing the cooperation and combination of spiritual pets, it has a miraculous effect. However, there is really no way to avoid it. The use of spiritual skills consumes a lot of spiritual power, and there is no way to recover spiritual power through other means, and it can only be recovered slowly by itself. Of course, there are also some magical natural treasures that can increase the reserve of one's own spiritual power, but this kind of thing is too rare and precious. Generally, if there is, it will be in the hands of rich and powerful people, and ordinary people have no chance. He briefly explained it to Shueyo in his heart. Staring closely at the skeleton sergeant who rushed to the front, Ye Ling did not hesitate to activate one of the spiritual skills he controlled. Spiritual Chain. Episode 17. On both sides of the path where the skeleton soldiers were sprinting, strange waves suddenly appeared like ripples on the water. Then, several spiritual chains made entirely of spiritual power appeared from the space. They rushed forward at a swift speed. In less than a second, the skeleton soldiers' limbs and heads were tightly bound. The sudden spiritual chains also caught the skeleton soldiers off guard. Although the skeleton soldiers were a little smarter, they were only a little better than the skeleton soldiers, but compared with humans, they were still far behind. The bound skeleton soldiers fell to the ground in an instant due to the inertia of their sprinting just now, and Shueyo had already received Ye Ling's reminder. so how could he easily let go of this hard-won opportunity? Because of the use of crazy blood, Shueyo's strength and speed increased dramatically. Crack! The legs exerted force, bursting out the whole body's strength, and cracks appeared on the solid ground where the force was applied. The sudden burst of speed even shocked Ye Ling, the master, not to mention Huixiener, who was watching the battle from a distance. Shueyu turned into a blood-colored thunder, and in an instant, he appeared behind the skeleton sergeant bound by the spiritual power chain. Aiming at the head of the skeleton sergeant, without a trace of hesitation, he kicked hard. Boom! The power after blessing is so terrifying. For a time, smoke and dust rose up, and sand and stones flew. The other skeletons following the skeleton sergeant were blocked by the smoke. Unable to see the trace of the enemy, these skeletons had to stop their steps on their own initiative. With the loud noise just now, Ye Ling even felt that the bone hill under his feet shook slightly. What a huge surprise. Ye Ling had a satisfied smile on his face. I originally thought that the increase in the power of crazy blood would not increase the power of blood ghost to such a great extent. But judging from the current situation, the pure destructive power of blood ghost is not even weaker than the earth blue dragon in Huixiener's hand. It is definitely a pleasant surprise. How is it possible? The power is so strong. That's right, even Huixiener herself opened her mouth slightly and stared with eyes wide open. This is completely different from the zombies that Huixiener knew, and it can even be said to be a world of difference. Although zombies are relatively powerful, there is a limit to how powerful they are. Not only that, the speed of zombies is also very slow. And now, the speed of the zombie pet in Ye Ling's hand is like thunder. If you don't pay attention, you may even lose it in your sight. Not only that, such a powerful force, the huge destructive power caused is not even inferior to the earth blue dragon. How could this be possible? This is Huixiener's most real thought now. You know, in order to make the earth blue dragon improve quickly, Huixiener almost fought outside the city for a long time, in order to enter the top-level Ye Ling school one day. Huixiener was very satisfied with her current results, but now seeing the strength shown by Ye Ling's Shueyo, Huixiener fell into a state of self-doubt. You know, not long ago, Ye Ling was only a first-level second-level Ye Ling. The zombie pet in his hand was only a first-level second-level. To be honest, a first-level second-level zombie is not very useful. The speed of that slow jump is so fast that even the skeleton soldiers can't catch up. But now, everything is completely different from what I know. The super-fast movement speed is not weaker than the power of the earth blue dragon. This is simply a monster. Moreover, at best, Ye Ling is now a first-level third-level Ye Ling. But the strength shown by his level 3 zombie pet can easily crush the level 5 skeleton soldiers. This gap is indeed a bit scary. After returning to Shueyo and instantly destroying the second skeleton soldier, Shueyo sneaked in the smoke. Standing on the bone hill, Ye Ling could clearly see the situation below. Ye Ling knew the location of all the skeletons and the last skeleton soldier. Ye Ling pointed out the direction to Shueyo, and Shueyo rushed to the last remaining skeleton soldier at a very fast speed. He lowered his body very low and was not discovered by any skeleton at all. Of course, this is also due to the fact that the skeleton's perception is not sharp. If it were other beasts, they would still be able to find it with their excellent sense of smell. Blood was condensed on Shueyo's 2 hands, and the black and sharp nails that were originally used to touch the skeleton were still visible. Wrapped in blood, it appeared as a blood claw. It was as if it had just been drawn out of the blood. Chi. Shueyo aimed directly at the skeleton soldier, and was less than 2 meters away from the opponent. Shueyo's body sank slightly, and his legs burst out with powerful power again. The whole person came out of the smoke and dust, with bloody claws, and stabbed the skeleton soldier's head fiercely. Huixiener, who witnessed this scene, had recovered from the shock just now, and couldn't help but feel a little regretful. The hardest part of these skeletons is the head. It's really unwise to choose to attack the hardest head. Episode 18. In Huixiener's opinion, in this case, Shueyu actually has a better solution. That is to attack the opponent's cervical vertebrae as he did when he dealt with the first skeleton soldier before. There is a chance to break the opponent's cervical vertebrae with one blow. As long as the cervical vertebrae are broken, even if the skeleton soldier is not dead, he will temporarily lose his combat ability, and the remaining skeleton soldiers are even less likely to be Shueyu's opponents. This kind of fighting process is what Huixiener thinks is the best way to fight. However, the following scene shocked Huixiener, who was originally a little regretful, because Shueyu's claws, which had turned bloody at this moment, actually pierced through the skeleton soldier's hardest head in an instant. It was as simple as cutting melons and vegetables. This is not reasonable at all, and it is not even within Huixiener's cognition. Although Huixiener's own Songlong can also step on the skeleton soldier's head with one foot, it is because Songlong's power is strong enough. After all, it has the word dragon in its name, so although it is not a pure-blooded dragon, but only a sub-dragon, it still has dragon bloodline. There is no doubt that it is powerful. The earth blue dragon has thick skin all over its body and has strong defense, which is not even inferior to the head of the skeleton soldier. But now, the zombie spirit pet in Ye Ling's hand can easily break the head of the skeleton soldier with bare hands. It also means that Ye Ling's zombie spirit pet can easily break the defense of the earth blue dragon. If Huixiener was happy for Ye Ling's spirit pet at the beginning, he was happy for him. Then now, Huixiener has been inspired to fight. Ye Ling, who has almost been sentenced and cannot enter the Imperial Spirit Envoy Academy, can become so powerful. Then as the young master of a first-class family and a genius in the school, he must not be worse than the other party. This battle is already a foregone conclusion, and Huasianer does not want to stay here any longer. Staying here is meaningless for improving her strength. She has already seen Ye Ling's powerful strength. For the selection of the Imperial Spirit Academy in a few days, Huasianer decided to try her best to break through in the next few days. Try to make herself reach the 8th level of the first stage in the next few days. In this way, the possibility of entering the top Imperial Spirit Academy will be greater. She took a deep look at Ye Ling standing on the bone hill. Huasianer turned and left here. She suddenly found that she couldn't see through this man at all. He was so well hidden that no one noticed anything unusual. No one knew that the spirit pet in Ye Ling's hand would be so strong. I'm afraid that Ye Ling will be a dark horse in the next Imperial Spirit Academy selection. I don't know which academy the other party likes. Maybe they may be classmates in the future. That's right, Huasianer has determined it now. Ye Ling is absolutely capable of entering any top Imperial Spirit Academy. From the battle just now, it can be seen that the fighting power shown by Shuiyu is not much weaker than that of his Ditsang Long. After a few days of fighting, the opponent may even be able to match his Ditsang Long. With such strength, it is basically no problem to get into the top Ye Ling Academy. If Ye Ling finally enters the same academy as herself, Huasianer even has a little expectation. Huasianer is very curious about the strength shown by Ye Ling now. However, time is tight now, and there is no time for her to slowly get to know each other here. If she can enter a Ye Ling Academy in the future, it will not be too late to communicate slowly at that time. Ye Ling did not notice Huasianer's departure. It should be said that from the beginning to now, his attention has been all on the following battle. When Shuiyu successfully solved the last skeleton sergeant, Ye Ling finally breathed a sigh of relief. The remaining skeleton soldiers are not to be feared at all. The following battles are completely crushing. None of the skeleton soldiers could withstand Shuiyu's attack. Soon, the battle here ended. Only a pile of skeletons were left at the scene, and the soul fire in their heads gradually dissipated. This was also Ye Ling's fault. He didn't have a soul bottle and couldn't collect the soul fire. After the battle, Ye Ling walked down along the bone hill. You should know that after the monster is killed, there is a certain probability that it will drop materials or treasures. It may be evolution materials, or it may be some rare treasures. After killing so many skeleton soldiers, Ye Ling basically didn't find anything. There were only a few materials for evolution, but they were not for Shuiyu. After killing so many skeletons this time, including 3 skeleton soldiers, Ye Ling believed that there would be some good stuff. At this time, the blood madness effect on Shuiyu finally reached the critical point. The blood energy on his body was gradually fading away. At the same time, Shuiyu's skin, which had turned red due to his skills, finally turned back to pale white. Episode 19. In this battlefield full of bones and in ruins, Ye Ling started his career of picking up garbage again. This is really helpless. Even if a powerful spirit master defeats a monster, he needs to search for the dropped materials by himself or his spirit pet. No one can be an exception. Therefore, this also leads to a problem. That is, it is possible that a group of people are attacking a monster and finally destroy the other party. When they are about to search for materials, another group of people will take advantage of them and take away the things when they are not able to search in time. This situation has happened many times. Searching for materials in this way is not only slow, but also unreliable. If you miss something, you may not know it yourself. It would be great if my system had an automatic pickup function, Ye Ling thought as he searched for materials. At this moment, Ye Ling suddenly received a prompt from the system in his mind. The current host's needs have been detected, and the task has been issued. The level has been successfully upgraded to the second level. The first level, the function can be opened automatic pickup, and a mysterious item is rewarded. When Ye Ling heard this prompt, he even thought that he had heard it wrong. I just thought about this automatic pickup function, but I didn't expect that the system actually has it. This was completely beyond Ye Ling's expectations. He never thought that the system would actually issue specific tasks according to his needs. If he lacks any materials, and then thinks about it, will the system issue corresponding tasks and give him materials? Thinking of this, Ye Ling is ready to try it. He began to imagine the materials needed for the evolution of Shuiyu. However, the system did not move at all, and it was silent. In the end, Ye Ling did not get this task issued by the system. It seems that this is not a bug in the system, but there is indeed such a function. However, this function has not been opened for the time being. To open the automatic pickup function, it must be upgraded to the second level and the first level. With his current strength, there is still a long way to go. You have to know that you are only at the third level of the first stage now. In the next few days, it is not impossible to get the second level and the first level, but it is very difficult. At this moment, a faint white light suddenly attracted Ye Ling's attention. Under the skeleton of a skeleton soldier, it seems that something is emitting a faint milky white light. Turning over, Ye Ling came to the skeleton of the skeleton soldier and slowly squatted down. Turning over the skeleton soldier's skeleton, a finger-long bone emitting white light came into view. Picking up this bone, Ye Ling finally determined what it was. Flawless bone. That's right, this is one of the materials needed for Shuiyu to evolve to the next stage, flawless bone. The whole body is as white jade, without a single flaw, giving people the feeling that it is a piece of white jade. But this is not jade itself, but a bone on the body of a skeleton soldier. I didn't expect it to be so easy to get the first evolution material. It seems that luck is here and nothing can stop it. Carefully putting away the flawless bone, Ye Ling was naturally filled with joy. Among the materials needed for Shueyo to evolve to the next stage of gray-eyed zombies, flawless bones and dark heart are the most difficult to obtain. As for the remaining secondary dark crystals and dark blood essence, these two are relatively easy to obtain. Both of these things come from dark monsters. In the place where the skeletons of the burial mound are located, Ye Ling may obtain only two types of materials for the evolution of Shueyo. One is flawless bones, and the other is secondary dark crystals. Then he continued to harvest the battlefield and obtained a secondary dark crystal. Shueyo, let's go. It's time to find the next target, Ye Ling said when he came to Shueyo, and Shueyo didn't move at all, just tilted his little head and glanced at Ye Ling, without any expression. Doing this action suddenly, at first glance, there is a kind of cute feeling. The main reason is that Shueyo's face is very delicate now, and it looks cute when she does this. I'm afraid no one will connect the current Shueyo with the Shueyo who was in a fighting state just now. It feels like they are two different existences. Even Ye Ling thought so. I don't know what Ye Ling was thinking. He casually stretched out his hand and touched Shueyo's head. Shueyo, who was touched on the head, looked at Ye Ling strangely. Obviously, she didn't understand why Ye Ling touched her head bag. But the other party is his master, so Shueyo will not stop him. There is an extremely strong trust relationship between the spirit master and the spirit pet. Of course, this relationship is not absolutely unchanging. If the spirit master repeatedly hurts and betrays the spirit pet will also develop a rebellious mentality. In the end, the spirit pet may betray the spirit master. However, this situation rarely happens, and generally speaking, no one will abuse their spirit pet, unless there is a psychological problem or a mental abnormality. Episode 20. Being looked at with such innocent eyes, Ye Ling even felt a little embarrassed. Holding Shueyo's pale little hand, the two continued to the next hunting location. In order to become stronger and to enter the top-level Ye Ling Academy, Ye Ling must work harder. If he slacked off just because he had a system, then the problem would be the most serious. Next, hunting became much easier. When there were too many skeleton soldiers, Ye Ling would hold back his heartache and spare them. After all, with Shueyo's current strength, he was not enough to face the siege of many skeleton soldiers. Even with the skills of crazy blood and bloodthirstiness, he couldn't do it. Ye Ling was now looking for some small groups of skeleton soldiers. Usually there were only a few skeleton soldiers, plus some skeleton soldiers. It was too easy to fight, and it could even be said to be very cool. After spending a few more hours, Ye Ling finally completed a task issued by the system. Successfully complete the task, eliminate the skeleton soldiers, 2020, get 50% experience progress, and a set of exclusive clothing for Shueyo. At this time, before the 50% progress bonus, Shueyo's own experience value was already about 30%. With this 50%, it instantly reached 80%. As long as he worked a little harder, he could upgrade to level 1, level 4. For the first time, Ye Ling discovered that upgrading was such a simple thing. Compared to other people, the speed at which he and his spirit pet upgraded was really too fast. It can be said to be so fast that it was outrageous. If someone knew about it, the first thought might be disbelief. Such a terrifying speed of gaining experience was really incredible. Not only this 50% experience value, but also a set of exclusive clothing for Shueyo. Ye Ling couldn't wait to take this exclusive clothing out of the system space. A blood-red neon clothing appeared in Ye Ling's hands. Shueyo's exclusive colorful blood-stained clothing can effectively resist certain physical and magical attacks, has a built-in neat function, and cannot be damaged. Exclusive equipment, only available to Shueyo. Looking at this introduction, Ye Ling always feels like playing an online game. It is indeed worthy of being Shueyo's exclusive colorful blood-stained clothing, which can only be used by Shueyo. If it were someone else, he would not be able to wear it at all. The effect is still very good, which can resist certain physical and magical attacks, and at the same time cannot be damaged and has a built-in neat function. With Shueyo's violent fighting style, no matter how many clothes he has, they are not enough for her to change. After several hours of fighting, Shueyo's clothes have long been tattered. Ye Ling can vaguely see that under the holes in Shueyo's clothes, the pale flesh is obviously exposed. This is his own spiritual pet. If it is exposed in public, it is really too uncomfortable. Now that he has this clothing, this problem will no longer occur. At least there is no need to worry about Shueyo's fighting style, which always damages her clothes and exposes her. Shueyo is Ye Ling's pet. How could Ye Ling let her expose herself at will? If she wants to expose herself, she should expose herself to herself, not to others. This is simply a perfect dress. Ye Ling handed the colorful blood-stained clothes in his hand to Shueyo and gave her an order to change into this dress. But unfortunately, although she has a little wisdom, it is okay for Shueyo to fight, but she really can't wear this kind of clothes. Shueyo just held the colorful blood-stained clothes in her hand blankly, without any movement. In desperation, Ye Ling had to do it himself. However, when changing clothes, Ye Ling still carefully observed the surroundings. After confirming that there were no enemies around, Ye Ling changed the colorful blood-stained clothes for Shueyo. Looking at the white body standing in front of him, Ye Ling's nose sniffed twice fiercely. A warm feeling was about to flow out. Ye Ling hurriedly put the colorful blood-stained clothes on Shuiyu and tied the belt on it. The warm feeling had already flowed out at this time. Ye Ling hurriedly reached out to wipe it, and as expected, the red blood was so conspicuous. He quickly raised his neck to prevent his nose from bleeding. Shuiyu, who had already put on the colorful blood-stained clothes, saw Ye Ling's actions and naturally didn't understand what he was doing. However, Shuiyu followed suit and raised his head with Ye Ling. He wrinkled his nose from time to time, which looked very human, and Ye Ling naturally noticed that Shuiyu was learning his actions. Oh, intersection_intersection, oh. He couldn't help but laugh. Outcome. With such a humanized spirit pet, Ye Ling even suspected that it was not a spirit pet, but a person like himself. However, Shuiyu is indeed a spirit pet, not a human being, and is fundamentally different from humans. After a long while, Ye Ling finally stopped his nosebleed. Now, Ye Ling has no extra time to waste. He directly dragged Shuiyu to the next hunting location. Before reaching his goal, Ye Ling did not plan to rest. At least he had to find a way to collect the remaining experience before dark. Let Shuiyu upgrade one more level, so that both he and Shuiyu can reach level 1 and level 4. Episode 21. Until the evening, the battle between Ye Ling and Shuiyu finally ended. Ding! Congratulations to the host's pet Shuiyu, who successfully reached the first level and level 4, and obtained 1 free point. With the end of the battle, the experience value, which was originally a little more than 99%, finally reached 100%. At the same time, Shuiyu's level was raised again, and he successfully reached the first level and level 4. As for Ye Ling, his level also reached the first level and level 4. I'm afraid no one would believe this kind of thing, that someone could actually level up twice in one day. If it weren't for seeing it with their own eyes, some people might really think that Ye Ling was dreaming. Of course, this is also thanks to the experience value reward given by the system, and the experience value quantification itself. You should know that the system provides 2 experience value rewards, each of which is 50%, which is enough to upgrade 1 level. Unlike others, Ye Ling does not have shackles. As long as he has enough experience points, he can upgrade. Huasiener, who has had a pet for more than half a year, has only cultivated her pet to the first level and level 7. Excluding the beginning, it takes a certain amount of time to cultivate and grow. Huasiener has been fighting with Deet Songlong for more than 3 months. It is indeed very powerful to reach the current strength. From this, it can be seen how incredible it is to level up twice in one day. Today's task is finally completed at this time. It is getting dark. Ye Ling took Shuiyu and left the burial mound quickly. You must know that it is more dangerous in the wild at night, because there are many monsters that hide during the day and come out at night. Without the sun's rays, it is too dangerous to face more ferocious monsters without light. Even Ye Ling cannot guarantee that he will not be injured. Today's goal has been achieved, so there is no need to take this risk. After evacuating the burial mound, Ye Ling took Shuiyu back to the spirit pet seal. Here, it is very close to Tianhui City, and there are no very powerful monsters around. There is no need to worry about being attacked or anything like that, which is why Ye Ling dared to take Shuiyu back to the spirit pet seal. With his ID, Ye Ling returned to the familiar Radiant City again. In the past, he hated this city, because at that time, Ye Ling was destined to be unable to become stronger, either becoming an ordinary person or joining the army and becoming an ordinary soldier. If you want to live a better life, you can also become a mercenary, although it is very dangerous, but the income is higher. High income often represents high risk. In such a life, Ye Ling can't see any hope, so he naturally hates the city very much. But now it's different. Ye Ling has undergone earth-shaking changes, and his own strength has reached the first level 4. In addition, he has a spirit pet that can evolve to the mythical level. Now, Ye Ling only feels that life is so beautiful. With his own upgrade speed, it can be said that he is unique in the entire Federation and no one can compare. Ye Ling's desire to become stronger has not diminished at all, but has become stronger and stronger. Because this is a world where the strong are respected. The stronger you are, the more privileges you get. The stronger you are, the more people will want to win you over. The stronger you are, the more people will fear you. And Ye Ling, starting today, will officially step into this world and work hard to climb up. He believes that it won't be long before he can become stronger. This small radiant city is far from his end, but just a starting point. After waving his hand to call a car, Ye Ling told his address and lay in the back seat to clean up today's harvest. Shuiyu's evolutionary materials have obtained a flawless bone and 5 secondary dark crystals. Not only that, Shuiyu's growth rate has reached a little over 10%. Although it looks like only 1/10, the growth rate is related to evolution. It is not like experience points that can grow quickly. It takes a lot of battles to accumulate and grow. Like Shuiyu, the growth rate increased by more than 10% in one day, which is already very terrifying. At the same time, because Shuiyu was promoted to the 4th level of the first stage, he gained some free points. However, Shuiyu currently does not have more skills or talents to add. Although free points can be used to improve one's spiritual skills, Ye Ling is not prepared to do so. Although he has now reached the 4th level of the first stage, his spiritual power value is only 400. The level of spiritual skills increases, which means that the consumption of spiritual power will also increase. With the current value of spiritual skills, there is no need for this. At least for now, level 1 is enough. After reaching level 2, Ye Ling may consider further improving the level of spiritual skills. Of course, if the total amount of spiritual power can be directly increased, Ye Ling can also improve the level of spiritual skills. However, Ye Ling currently does not have the means to directly increase the total amount of spiritual power. Therefore, Ye Ling plans to keep the remaining free points. Maybe someday, Shuiyu will have talents or skills that can be added. At that time, allocating this free point to Shuiyu will be more useful. Episode 22. Host, Ye Ling. Level 1, Level 4. Spiritual Power, 400 of 400. Spiritual Skills, Spiritual Power Chain, Level 1. Spiritual Power Shield, Level 1. Spiritual Vision, Level 1. Spirit Pet, Shuiyu. Free points, 1. Name, Shuiyu, White-Eyed Zombie. Attribute, Undead Attribute. Level 1, Level 4. Experience value 0%. Growth Power, Normal. Growth Degree, 102%. Equipment, Shuiyu's exclusive colorful blood robe. Talent, Physical Damage Reduction, Low Level. Super Speed Regeneration, Magic Damage Reduction, Low Level. Skills, Bloodthirst, Blood Rage. Compared to when he first obtained the system, Ye Ling is now several times more powerful. This is only the first evolution of Shuiyu, and it has brought about earth-shaking changes. This is just the change brought about in less than a day. And then, Ye Ling still has several days to make himself and Shuiyu's level higher. Ye Ling is confident that he will get the qualification to enter the top-level Yuling Academy in the college selection in a few days. In order to make himself stronger with all his heart, Ye Ling decided not to go to school in the next few days. It is undoubtedly a waste of time in school. It is better to spend more time to hunt more monsters outside. Not only can it provide experience points for yourself and growth for Shuiyu, but also can obtain various materials. Even if you don't use the materials, you can earn a lot of federal points by selling them online. With federal points, even the evolution materials that Ye Ling can't get can be purchased online. Therefore, for Ye Ling, going outside the city to brush monsters is 100 benefits and no harm, except for the danger. Just when Ye Ling was assessing various issues, the car had taken him back to Ye Ling's residence. After paying the federal points, Ye Ling quickly returned to his room. At the first moment, Ye Ling took out his phone and called the teacher of his class. He told the teacher that he wanted to take a leave. Originally, the teacher disagreed with Ye Ling's behavior. After all, the exam was approaching. And what was the use of the teacher not teaching at this time and relying on last-minute cram? Ye Ling just said that he had found a way to become stronger, and as long as he gave himself time, he could be admitted to the Imperial Spirit Envoy Academy. This reason was not enough for the teacher to agree to his vacation, but in the end, the teacher took into account Ye Ling's pet and gave him a break. If his pet could become stronger as Ye Ling said, then the teacher naturally could not stop it. He also hoped that there would be one more promising student in his class. In this way, it could also help him build a brand. According to the teacher's usual understanding of Ye Ling, although the student was not outstanding, he was still down to earth. There was no need to deceive himself with such things, so the teacher finally agreed to Ye Ling's vacation. Anyway, it was just a few days of leave, not a troublesome thing. In this way, Ye Ling's time was completely free. He set a rule for himself that he would not need anything except some food every day. He would go out early and come back late, and he must seize the time to make himself and Shuiyu stronger. On the first day of becoming stronger, Ye Ling fell into a dream with a strong sense of fatigue. Because he was too tired, Ye Ling slept very soundly. But on the other side, in a spacious courtyard, someone was tossing and turning in bed, unable to fall asleep. And this person was Huasiener, whom Ye Ling met during the day. After Huasiener came back, she immediately told her father what she had seen during the day. But Hu Qingshan did not believe what Huasiener said. Because in the Federation for so long, no one zombie pet has ever been able to complete the evolution. All zombies are the kind of clumsy pets that jump and jump. This is the general perception of everyone in the Federation. When she first saw Shuiyu, Huasiener was the first one who did not believe it. But the facts were happening before her eyes, and she had no choice but to believe it. Not only can zombies evolve, but they are also very powerful after evolution. But Huasiener was the only one who knew the truth about this matter. Even her father didn't believe what she said, let alone other people. Maybe it's not a zombie, but some other kind of spiritual pet, or maybe a mutated zombie. These were Hu Qingshan's original words, and he obviously didn't believe that zombies could evolve. Therefore, Huasiener didn't want to continue struggling with this issue. She had to bury it in her heart. But when she rested, she couldn't sleep because of the things in her heart. She tossed and turned in bed, and her mind was always about Ye Ling and his zombie pet. Ah. So annoying. Holding her head, Huasiener wailed in pain. She didn't know why she suddenly thought of Ye Ling, but as long as she closed her eyes, the scene in her mind was the daytime. Obviously, the two had basically never met, and today was the first time. But the impression left by this first meeting was too deep. Episode 23. It was not until late at night that Huasiener fell into a deep sleep. Ye Ling, from the moment he lay down on the bed, was in a deep sleep and had not woken up in the middle. The next morning, Ye Ling hurriedly ate breakfast and prepared a lunch for himself. He took a taxi and rushed out of the city again. He did not have much time to waste here. He needed to seize every moment to make himself stronger. The next day was still the bone mound, swiping skeletons crazily. Even if they were as small as skeleton soldiers, Ye Ling did not let go of any of them. No matter how small a mosquito leg is, it is still meat, and Ye Ling did not leave any of it behind. Compared with the skeleton sergeant, Ye Ling met a more powerful skeleton sergeant this time. The skeleton sergeant is even more powerful than the skeleton sergeant. Most of them are around level 7 of the first order, and their strength is even stronger. But even so, it still did not stop Ye Ling and Xueyu from upgrading. With the help of the system tasks, Ye Ling and Xueyu successfully upgraded to the first level and level 6, plus more than 50% of experience points. Compared with yesterday, Ye Ling and Xueyu are at a higher level today, so the experience points gained by defeating the skeleton soldiers and skeleton sergeants have decreased a little. The reason why they can upgrade more than 2 levels is entirely because there was a task that was not completed yesterday. 100 bone slash, destroy 100 skeletons, and upgrade the level of the spirit pet by 1 level. It is also because of this task that Ye Ling and Xueyu directly upgraded to the first level and level 6 today. At least 2 levels a day, there is no such a talented person in the entire Federation. Not only has the level been upgraded, Ye Ling has also obtained a lot of evolution materials. Secondary dark crystals have successfully owned more than 10. What is lacking now is the Heart of Darkness and Dark Blood Essence. These 2 materials are not produced in the Bone Burial Hill. If you want to obtain these 2 materials, you need to go to the location where the dark monsters are located and defeat the dark monsters to have a chance to obtain them. But unfortunately, there are no dark monsters around Radiant City. Therefore, if Ye Ling wants to obtain the Heart of Darkness and Dark Essence Blood, the only way is to buy them online. However, Ye Ling is not in a hurry at the moment, because evolution requires not only evolution materials, but also the growth of the spirit pet to reach 100%. At present, the growth of Xueyu is only 178%. It will take a lot of time to reach the growth of evolution. At least from the current situation, there is no rush for evolution materials. Even with the help of the system, Ye Ling has no way to evolve before the assessment of the Imperial Spirit Academy. Since it is not possible now, there is no need to waste time on it. Next, this continued for 3 consecutive days. Ye Ling truly achieved what is called a straight line between 2 points. Go out in the morning and come back in the evening. This has been the case for the past few days. During these 3 days, the levels of Ye Ling and Xueyu have been raised again. Both levels have reached the first level and level 9. In the following 3 days, he only leveled up 1 level a day on average. The main reason is that the system does not issue many tasks, and the rewards are not necessarily all experience points. In addition, as the level increases, the experience points provided by monsters will gradually decrease. This is why, in these 3 days, Ye Ling basically leveled up 1 level a day. If it were an ordinary spirit master, he would probably call it a ghost. Level up 1 level a day, and at the beginning, it was 2 levels a day. It's really annoying to compare people. As the level of Xueyu gradually increases, the strength and speed are gradually increasing. Now Ye Ling can say very directly that it is not a big problem for Xueyu in the normal state to fight against Huasiener's Earth Blue Dragon. He can even suppress the opponent. Moreover, this seems to be only the normal state of Xueyu. If it is the bloody blood and bloodthirsty blood Yu, the strength will increase again significantly. Although Ye Ling has not yet faced a second-level strong enemy, Ye Ling has a feeling that even if he can't win, he will not be defeated instantly. When Xueyu was promoted to the 9th level of the first stage, Ye Ling gained another free point. Now, Ye Ling has a total of 7 free points. Not only that, Xueyu also has talents that can be added. The original physical damage reduction and magic damage reduction, as well as super speed regeneration can now be added. This is another opportunity to improve strength. How could Ye Ling let it go? There are already 7 free points, and these are only 3 talents. Ye Ling is not at all weak. After adding points, physical damage reduction has been improved to the intermediate level, and magic damage reduction has also been improved to intermediate level. As for super speed regeneration, there is not much change, just reducing some physical consumption. When seeing the introduction after super speed regeneration points, Ye Ling regretted it instantly. This is of no use to Xueyu, because Xueyu itself has infinite physical strength. Reducing physical consumption is of no use to Xueyu. In other words, Ye Ling's free point is basically scrapped, wasting one in vain. Xueyu also gained a new talent, Blood Mist. Blood Mist can turn your body into blood mist, which can exert extremely fast speed. It cannot attack when blood mist. Episode 24. After this period of struggle, Ye Ling can be said to be completely different from before. In fact, it can be said that there is a world of difference. In just a few days, he was promoted from the first level, level 2, to the first level, level 9. The span between them can be said to be shocking. In the Federation, no one has ever upgraded so quickly. Even Huasiener, who was at the first level, level 7 before, has worked hard in the past few days. In addition, she had been at the first level, level 7 for a while, and now she has barely reached the first level, level 8. Ye Ling has now come from behind and directly surpassed Huasiener by 1 level. Fortunately, Ye Ling and Huasiener have basically not met in the past few days. Therefore, no one knows that Ye Ling now has the strength of the first level, level 9. Tomorrow, it is the so-called Ye Ling Envoy Academy assessment. Ye Ling, who is at the first level, level 9, can be said to be a unique existence in the entire Tianhui City College. Such strength is destined to be amazing tomorrow. Ye Ling seemed to have seen that the 4 major Imperial Spirit Academies were throwing olive branches to him one by one, vying for his position. Ye Ling, who had relaxed, slept particularly comfortably today. After the intense preparations for the war, he felt relaxed when facing the battlefield. Because he already had enough strength to face the battlefield, he naturally did not need to be so nervous. One night passed quickly. The sun still rose, and the morning sun poured on the towering walls of Radiant City. The city, which had stood for many years, looked so majestic. Today, unlike usual, the sky was very lively. One airship after another came to Radiant City from different directions. Each airship had its own logo or characteristics, and these airships represented their respective Imperial Spirit Academies. All these airships flew in one direction. This direction was the center of Radiant City, the City Lord's mansion. There is a huge square in front of the City Lord's mansion, which is more than enough to accommodate these airships. Parked in the front are 4 airships. These 4 airships represent the Azure Dragon Imperial Spirit Academy, the White Tiger Imperial Spirit Academy, the Vermilion Bird Imperial Spirit Academy, and the Black Tortoise Imperial Spirit Academy. These 4 Imperial Spirit Academy are the top Imperial Spirit Academy in the entire Federation. After the 4 top Imperial Spirit Academy, there are other high-level Imperial Spirit Academy, and then the Intermediate Imperial Spirit Academy, and the last one is the low-level Imperial Spirit Academy. Compared with the 4 top Imperial Spirit Academy, the airships of other academies are obviously much smaller. This is also due to the issue of how much money there is between the academies. For the top Imperial Spirit Academy, the Federation naturally invests more resources, and the airships cast are more luxurious. They are all the lowest level Imperial Spirit Academy, and the resources allocated to them are naturally the least. In the center of the City Lord's mansion, the City Lord Shang Ling Kong, who looked like a middle-aged man, stood at the front. The guards around him also stood straight in full readiness. Even Shang Ling Kong had to take these Imperial Spirit Envoy colleges seriously. For example, the representatives sent by the 4 Imperial Spirit Envoy colleges were 7th-level Imperial Spirit Envoys who were not inferior to Shang Ling Kong. In the entire Federation, they could be said to be high-end combat forces. The airships of the Imperial Spirit Envoy colleges stopped one after another. People wearing various school uniforms came out of their respective airships. Walking in the front were Lu Feng, 7th level 8th grade, from the Azure Dragon Imperial Spirit Envoy College, Bai Tong, 7th level 7th grade, from the White Tiger Imperial Spirit Envoy College, Hong Xiao, 7th level 8th grade, from the Vermilion Bird Imperial Spirit Envoy College, and Hu Ling, 7th level 7th grade, from the Black Tortoise Imperial Spirit Envoy College. Except for Hu Ling, the other 3 people were almost all the ones who came to Radiant City to select students in recent years. Therefore, Shang Ling Kong is already familiar with these 3 people. They are old friends. Only Hu Ling came to Radiant City for the first time this year. Ha ha ha. You are finally here, but I have been waiting for a long time. Shang Ling Kong laughed loudly and went to greet them directly. Hearing this laughter, the people from the Imperial Spirit Academy returned the greetings. Although Radiant City is not a big city, it is still a city in the Federation. As the City Lord, Shang Ling Kong also has a certain status in the Federation. Although the top Imperial Spirit Academy occupies an extraordinary status in the entire Federation. But when facing Shang Ling Kong, each representative was very humble. As a Spirit Envoy, you must always know how to make friends, not just make enemies. Otherwise, the road ahead will be very difficult. Hu Ling looks to be in her 20s, with a delicate face and a teardrop mole at the corner of her eye. The first impression is that she is a charming woman. If you are not careful, you may be seduced by her. Hu Ling covered her mouth and chuckled. Hello, Lord Shang, this is the first time we meet. I am Hu Ling, a member of the Hu family in the Holy City. At the same time, I am also the representative of the Xuanwu Spirit Envoy Academy this time. I came specifically for the little girl from our branch family. I don't know if she is really that talented. Episode 25. Ms. Hua, nice to meet you. Seeing Hu Ling so polite and without any arrogance, Shang Ling Kong naturally would not lose face for her. Hu Ling is a senior teacher of Xuanwu Yulingxi Academy. Although she is less than 30 years old, she is a real genius. At the same time, she is a member of the Hu family of the Holy City of the Federation, and can be regarded as one of the contemporary geniuses of the Hu family. She also graduated from Xuanwu Yulingxi Academy. After graduation, Hu Ling chose to stay in the academy as a teacher. Through these years of hard work, she has such a strong strength and status now. A 7th level Yulingxi who is less than 30 years old will definitely have the opportunity to reach the top of the 9th level in the future. Compared with Hu Ling, the teachers representing the other 3 top academies are obviously a little older. Almost all of them are in their 30s. Originally, this time, it should be the teacher who often represented Xuanwu Yulingxi Academy in the past. But this time the situation is a bit special. Hu Ling heard that a genius appeared in the Hu family of Tianhui City. Since she is also considered as her own family, it will be easier to recruit her. Moreover, Hu Ling is also very curious whether she is a genius. What kind of genius will come out of a relatively remote city like Tianhui City? Hu Ling, who grew up in the Holy City, has very high requirements for geniuses. This time, she came here specifically for the people of the Hu family in Tianhui City. Shang Ling Kong naturally knows who Hu Ling is talking about. The Hu family in Tianhui City has a genius girl. Does Hu Qingshan, the head of the Hu family, have any intention of hiding this matter? This is a very good opportunity to improve the reputation of the Hua family. Therefore, how could Hua Qingshan deliberately hide such a thing? Hua Xian'er is indeed a genius among the young generation of Tianhui City. She is one of the best. In our Tianhui High School, her strength is among the best. Shang Lingkong also knows a little about Hua Xian'er. However, Shang Lingkong is not particularly interested in the children of the family, because even if such family members are trained, they will give priority to repaying their own families instead of considering the Federation. Therefore, compared with family members, Shang Lingkong values civilian children more. Most civilian children will be recruited by the Federation, join the army, and defend the city. Although these families are also in the city, their priority is definitely not the safety of the city, but the survival of their families. Hu Ling was naturally delighted when she heard Shang Lingkong say so. You know, this time she came here specifically for Hua Xian'er. She didn't want to come all the way here and get nothing. As for whether Hua Xian'er would join the Xuanwu Yuling Envoy Academy, there was no doubt about it. As long as I am here, Hua Xian'er can't run away. Hearing Hu Ling say this, the other three could only smile helplessly. There is no way, because others have a relationship there, and they don't. A good seedling just flew away like this, and they could only watch helplessly, but they were powerless. However, there is not only one Hua Xian'er in Tianhui City, there will always be other geniuses. Every year when they come here, they will always recruit 1 or 2 good students. Although most of these good students are from families, there is nothing they can do about it. Family children have better resources. At the same time, family children do not have to wait for the Federation to distribute spirit pet eggs, but are given directly by the family. From the starting point, family children are obviously much higher. Starting at the front, as long as they are not playboys, they will definitely have the opportunity to enter the top Imperial Spirit Academy as long as they work hard to practice. Of course, even if their strength is not good, they can at least enter the Advanced Imperial Spirit Academy. For ordinary students, it is not easy to enter the top Imperial Spirit Academy. Of course, there are always some lucky ones who can get a stronger spirit pet. In addition, with a lot of hard work, they have the opportunity to enter the top Imperial Spirit Academy. After graduating from the academy, such students generally choose to either stay in school or join certain families, that is, join the army. Generally, one of the 3 paths is chosen. Okay, since you are all here, let's set off and head to the assessment site now. After saying that, Shang Lingkong waved his hand. The guards behind him began to move, walking in front to lead the way. Shang Lingkong and the 4 top-level Yelingshi academies followed behind, and this and the other Yelingshi academies could only line up one by one according to their levels. Afterwards, such a large group of people all entered the train arranged by Shang Lingkong. The train slowly started drive towards the direction of Tianhui City High School. At the same time, Ye Ling got up early in the morning, washed and dressed, and ran directly to the school. After this period of upgrade, Ye Ling's physical fitness has also been greatly improved. Running fast like this, even if running for half an hour, Ye Ling will not feel tired. Soon, Ye Ling returned to this school that he had not seen for a few days. Episode 26. The next 2 days will be the last 2 days for senior students in the academy. After tomorrow, senior students will usher in their new life. Some people can enter the Imperial Spirit Academy to continue their studies and become Imperial Spirits admired by ordinary people. If you are not recruited by the Imperial Spirit Academy, you can either be an ordinary person and make a living on your own, or you can join the army of Radiant City and become an ordinary recruit, receive training, and guard the city. You can also be a mercenary, depending on your personal wishes. After all, mercenaries need to hang their heads on their belts at any time. Apart from this, there is basically no other way to choose. This world is like this, very realistic and very cruel. Only those who become Imperial Spirits can change their lives. If you are an ordinary person, you can only be an ordinary person and rely on yourself, and you will never be able to turn over in your life. And every year, half of the people in Radiant City College will become ordinary people. It is destined that there is no way to change your fate in this life. Even if they join the army, ordinary people have no way to be promoted to higher positions. Because higher positions are all reserved for the Imperial Spirit Envoys, ordinary people are destined to have no chance. Returning to the familiar classroom again, it is still those familiar classmates. And today, how many people are happy, and how many people are worried? As Ye Ling's friend, Chen Ji was very worried about Ye Ling at the beginning, whether something happened to him. Why didn't he come to school for a day or two, and no matter what, he couldn't be contacted. Finally, he got the news from the teacher that Ye Ling had asked for leave, and Chen Ji was relieved a little. He knew that Ye Ling's own study was very good, but he was helpless to get a useless spirit pet. Originally, Chen Ji thought Ye Ling had given up the assessment. Unexpectedly, he came again today. When he saw Ye Ling, Chen Ji immediately went up and punched Ye Ling's shoulder hard. What on earth have you been doing these days, kid? I can't even contact you. If the teacher hadn't told me that you had asked for leave, I would have thought you disappeared. Looking at Ye Ling, who was unharmed and even somewhat confident, Chen Ji laughed and scolded. Hearing this, Ye Ling patted Chen Ji on the shoulder. Don't worry, I'm lucky. How could I disappear? I just went to practice these days, you know. I said before that I want to be admitted to the top-level Yuling Academy. Ye Ling is absolutely sure of his current strength and can enter the top-level Yuling Academy. You should know that among the seniors of Tianhui City College, The strongest ones are Huasiener and others, and their current strength is only level 7 or level 8 of the first stage. And Ye Ling's current strength has reached level 9 of the first stage. It can be said that he has completely crushed everyone. If such strength cannot enter the top-level Ye Ling Academy, then it can only be said that these academy representatives are blind. Seeing Ye Ling so confident, Qin Ji didn't say much to discourage him, but just nodded silently. On the contrary, other people in the class, after hearing Ye Ling's bold words, whispered one after another, but without exception, all of them were mocking. He wants to get into the top-level Ye Ling Academy? It's funny. That's right, don't you look at what you are? He has a useless spirit pet, so he can only blame his bad luck after today. He will be an ordinary person who cares about him. After all, Ye Ling's useless spirit pet is known to everyone in the class, and no one looks up to him. No one thinks that Ye Ling can enter the Ye Ling Academy with that useless spirit pet. Even if it is a low-level Ye Ling Academy, they think there is no possibility. One sentence after another of unbearable words came, and Ye Ling pretended not to hear them. How happy these people are talking now. When the assessment comes, they will know how much their faces hurt. There is absolutely no point in arguing with them now, it is just a waste of time. On the contrary, Qin Ji clenched his fists tightly when he heard these mocking words. When he was about to refute and stand up for Ye Ling pressed his shoulder directly. No need, the assessment is coming soon, there is no need to do extra things. Wait until the assessment is over, then we will know whether what I said is wrong or not. After saying that, Ye Ling walked towards his seat. Ye Ling himself had already said so, and Qin Ji did not want to cause trouble today, so he did not say anything more. Followed Ye Ling back to his seat. Go up. Among this group of students, there was one person who had been staring at Ye Ling with cold eyes. This person was Lu Wu, who had mocked Ye Ling when he was about to leave the classroom a few days ago. Although Lu Wu was the son of the head of the Lu family, a second-rate family in Tianhui City, his talent was average, and he was only at the 5th level of the first rank. He just had a good background. His academic performance was not as good as Ye Ling's, so he always liked to mock him with the matter of Ye Ling's pet. Episode 27. When Lu Wu was at home, he was often severely reprimanded by his father. He said that he was not working hard enough, and that he could not become one of the most powerful students, despite having such a good family. Level 5 of the first order might be really strong for ordinary students, but for Lu Wu, who has the support of his family, this is not enough. You know, the most powerful ones in colleges and universities are all level 7 or 8 of the first order. Level 5 of the first order is not enough. Although the levels of the first order are not far apart, it also represents a gap. Even if it is only one level stronger, it is still a gap. The Lu family is a second-rate family. As the head of the family, Lu Yun is already at level 10 of the 5th order, but he has been stuck here for a long time. The heads of other second-rate families are not as strong as him, but the children of other families are stronger than Lu Wu. This matter can be said to make Lu Yun very embarrassed. Therefore, Lu Yun is very dissatisfied with Lu Wu. He will educate him well when he has time. Lu Wu, who was unbalanced in his heart, was defeated by his father and dared not speak out. Naturally, he liked to find a sense of existence in the class. It was not that he did not want to find a sense of existence in the school, but unfortunately, his strength was not enough. There was no one weaker than him in other families. Even the children of the same clan were stronger than him. What qualifications did he have to find a sense of existence? But it was different in this class. Apart from him, there were basically no other children of big families in this class. There were only children of smaller families, and the children of these smaller families were at most about the same strength as him, and some were even lower than him. No one dared to offend him. Therefore, in this class, Lu Wu could act tyrannically. Of course, it was limited to this class. Lu Wu could say that he hated Ye Ling, who had good academic performance. Because the other party looked better than himself and had better academic performance than himself, Lu Wu was very embarrassed. Suppressing the former Ye Ling became something Lu Wu liked to do very much. Every time he mocked Ye Ling, Lu Wu's long-suppressed anger seemed to be released. Over time, Lu Wu used Ye Ling as his punching bag. However, although he could humiliate Ye Ling verbally, Lu Wu still didn't dare to do it openly. After all, the principal of Tianhui City High School is the city lord, and he didn't dare to act recklessly here. In the past, Ye Ling was often verbally humiliated by Lu Wu in various ways. However, even if he was humiliated like this, Ye Ling never resisted. Because he couldn't afford to provoke the other party, he was just an ordinary person with no background. The other party was the son of the head of a second-rate family after all. How could he dare to provoke the other party? But this was after Ye Ling was reborn, and he didn't care about Lu Wu's verbal humiliation at all. As a person who had been used to working in the workplace of another world, he didn't respond to this humiliation immediately, because after rebirth, Ye Ling was more concerned about how to become stronger. Everything can be taken back after becoming stronger. Now without strength, no matter what you do, you will be restricted. Therefore, Ye Ling has always ignored Lu Wu's ridicule and never heard it. This made Lu Wu feel like punching cotton, soft and without any force. The more Ye Ling was like this, the more unhappy Lu Wu felt. In Lu Wu's opinion, even if he was not a genius, he was ranked first in the whole class. You, Ye Ling, are just a waste. What qualifications do you have to ignore me? Every time Ye Ling ignored him, Lu Wu became more and more angry. Humph. Pretending, I'll see what you can do after today. Luwu didn't care about what Ye Ling said about wanting to be admitted to the top Imperial Spirit Academy. He even thought that Ye Ling was dreaming. This time, I want to see you fall into the abyss with my own eyes, and never get up again. When Luwu thought that Ye Ling would become an ordinary person, and even couldn't join the low-level Ye Ling Academy, he felt very relieved. Especially when he thought about Ye Ling's miserable appearance during the assessment, Luwu was very happy. Soon, the class teacher who had approved Ye Ling's vacation came. He began to tell the students about the composition of the exam. The assessment is divided into 2 parts every year. The first part is the survival assessment. All students who take the assessment will be teleported to a fixed secret realm. In this secret realm, there are only first-level monsters, and the strongest is the first-level 10th-level monster. All students must survive in this secret realm for 3 days. Once the 3 days are up, students who have not given up and have successfully survived will be considered to have passed the first part of the assessment. Of course, the assessment is not absolutely safe. If you cannot choose to give up in time, you must bear it yourself. If you die in the hands of the monster, the school will not be responsible. This is the rule. Of course, if you choose to give up, you will be teleported out directly. The survival assessment not only tests the student's strength, but also their ability to survive. In the wild, surviving is the most important thing. If you can't even survive, how can you be a spirit master? Episode 28. After passing the first part of the assessment, the remaining people can proceed to the second part of the assessment. However, unlike the first part of the assessment, as long as you can enter the second part of the assessment, then congratulations, you are already qualified to enter the Imperial Spirit Academy. The second part is the battle assessment. Students fight in groups, the winners advance, and the losers are relegated to the corresponding batches. If you lose in the first round, then congratulations, you are only qualified to enter the low-level Imperial Spirit Academy. The higher the number of rounds you persist in and the more times you win, the more chances you have to enter a higher-level Imperial Spirit Academy. Generally, the top 10 in the end have the opportunity to enter the top-level Imperial Spirit Academy. Of course, even if they are the worst, the top 10 are at least a high-level Imperial Spirit Academy. In the middle of the assessment, the battle between students will not end until one side's pet falls down. Of course, if you admit defeat directly, it is also possible. The assessment looks very cruel, but it is also relatively fair. As long as you have the ability, you have the opportunity to enter a higher-level Imperial Spirit Academy. Here, it is basically impossible to rely on money to bribe or something like that. For this, the Federation has already made corresponding measures. When conducting the assessment, there will be corresponding federal officials to prevent such incidents from happening. If such incidents occur, the Federation will definitely deal with them severely. After explaining the examination process, the head teacher pushed his glasses and said with some earnestness, "Time has passed unknowingly for several years. I hope that today, you can step into the Ye Ling Academy of your dreams. Remind you that you must do your best in the assessment and never be stubborn, otherwise, you may pay the price of your life. Being alive is more important than anything else. If you die, there will be nothing." Hearing the head teacher say this, there was a little discussion in the whole classroom before, but it suddenly became quiet. There was silence, and now even a needle falling on the ground can be heard clearly. They can hear from the teacher's tone that the assessment is not a joke, and there is really a possibility of death. Some timid girls were scared at this time. "Teacher, will someone really die?" One of the girls asked with a trembling voice. "It's about your life, so it's better to ask clearly. Otherwise, when you can't wake up anymore, it will be too late to regret." The head teacher nodded heavily. It was considered to be tacitly agreeing with the girl's question. For a while, the fear spread in the class. Of course, it was not just Ye Ling's class, but most other classes were the same. Those who can really stand firm are those who are very confident in their own strength. Ye Ling is naturally one of them. There is no fear on his face, and he is even quite interested in this assessment. Ding! Task released. Complete the first assessment of the Ye Ling Envoy Academy, and reward spiritual crystals x 3-inch. Just when Ye Ling was thinking about the content of the assessment, as expected, the system released a new task, and the reward given this time was something Ye Ling had never seen before. Since there is no spiritual crystal in hand, it is still unclear what the use of this thing is. However, since it is called Spiritual Power Crystal, Ye Ling guessed that it was probably related to spiritual power. This first test was simple for Ye Ling. Ye Ling, whose strength has reached the 9th level of the First Order, and Shui Yu, who has reached the 9th level of the First Order, are not afraid of all monsters below the Second Order. Of course, the Second Order may not be able to defeat it at present, but even if there is a Second Order, Shui Yu can still run away with Ye Ling. And this time, the test secret realm only has First Order monsters, which is a piece of cake for Ye Ling. "Okay, it's almost time. Now follow me to the square to prepare for the first test." After saying that, the head teacher walked directly out of the door, leaving behind a group of students looking at each other, not knowing what to do. Many of them have basically never experienced any battles, let alone actual combat experience. Now let them go to the secret realm. They always feel that they are going to the battlefield and may never come back. Everyone will be afraid of death. Ye Ling glanced at Qinji, who was sitting next to him and was a little dazed. He slapped him on the shoulder and said with a smile, "Are you scared? Don't worry, with your strength, it's no problem." This was not Ye Ling comforting Qinji, but Qinji himself had good strength. He, the spirit pet Swift Wind Wolf, has reached the 1st level and 4th level. Although it is not high, it is still good for ordinary students. Moreover, the swift-winged wolf itself has a rare growth ability, and its growth ability is quite good among these ordinary students. It is considered to be the best. With such strength, it is very easy to pass the first round of assessment. There is no need to worry too much. Episode 29. Qin-ji came back to his senses and reached out to push away Ye Ling's hand on his shoulder. Don't joke, you guy, how could I be afraid? I was just thinking about something just now. Hearing this, Ye Ling laughed unkindly. Okay, no problem, I got it, okay? After saying that, Ye Ling stood up and walked out of the classroom. Qin-ji stood up immediately and followed Ye Ling. Originally, no one in the class had started to act, and Lu Wu was going to be the first to come out and show off. As a result, just as he was about to stand up, Ye Ling and Qin-ji left the classroom one after the other. Aren't they afraid? I didn't realize that although Ye Ling is a useless spirit pet, he is so brave. I have a new respect for him. After seeing the two of them follow out at the first time, the class talked about it. Even the girls who used to look down on Ye Ling just looked at Ye Ling with a new look. Seeing this scene, Lu Wu showed an angry expression on his face. Clenching his right fist tightly, Lu Wu was full of anger. He wanted to rush up and knock Ye Ling to the ground with one punch. Unfortunately, he didn't. The main reason was that he didn't have the courage. Even if he had 100 more courage, Lu Wu would not dare to make trouble in the school. If he made trouble in the school, I'm afraid the school would not let him go, and even his father couldn't help him. Humph. Let's see what you will do later. With a cold snort, Lu Wu stood up and followed. Then, the students in the classroom also began to move one after another. They knew that they were destined to take the test today, and no one could change it. It's a blessing, not a curse, and it's a disaster that can't be avoided. If there is no way to pass the test, they can only return to the lives of ordinary people. Students from all classes began to walk out of their classrooms one after another. Led by the class teacher, they all went to the square. The entire square was to gather all the senior students. The number of students who take the assessment at Tianhui City High School every year is about 1,000 to 2,000, and those who can pass the first assessment are often less than half, or even less. Less than half of them can really join the Imperial Spirit Academy. Among these less than half of students, there are only a handful of people who can enter the top Imperial Spirit Academy. The top 10 are usually occupied by those who are at the top of the school. Generally speaking, there are hardly too many surprises. More than 1,000 students gathered together. The front end of the wide square was vacated. This position will be the location where all the representatives of the Imperial Spirit Academy will gather. Here, the positions of each academy are arranged in order. The 4 top Imperial Spirit Academy are undoubtedly at the front. Following closely are the Advanced Imperial Spirit Academy, followed by the Intermediate, and finally the low level. There are dozens of these academies alone. At this time, a team of soldiers from the city lord's mansion came in from outside. Obviously, these soldiers were leading the way. Then we saw the tall and strong Shang Lingkong, who walked out domineeringly. Behind him were the representatives of the 4 top Yuling Envoy Academies, and behind them were the representatives of other Yuling Envoy Academies. For these students, it was the first time to see such a large-scale battle. Oh, wow. That's the representative of the Azure Dragon Yuling Envoy Academy. The Azure Dragon logo on his clothes is so domineering. I think the white tiger is more domineering. For us girls, the vermilion bird is naturally the best looking. A group of students were talking below. It was as if they had already joined those Yuling Envoy Academies, but most of them were just talking nonsense. They knew that those who could enter the 4 top Yuling Envoy Academies were all geniuses of the school. How could they, the ordinary students, have a turn? In another class, Huixiener stood at the front. This position was also arranged according to the strength of the students in this class. The one standing at the front was undoubtedly the strongest in the class. Huixiener's eyes only stayed on the representatives of the Yuling Envoy Academy for a moment, and then moved away, sweeping back and forth among the students. It seemed that he was looking for such a person. Needless to say, this person was Ye Ling, who had shocked Huixiener a few days ago. Huixiener knew where Ye Ling's class was, but because Ye Ling did not reveal his strength in the class, therefore, Ye Ling's position was at the end of the team. Because there were too many people, Huixiener naturally couldn't see Ye Ling. After looking around for a long time without seeing Ye Ling, Huixiener felt a little disappointed. In the past few days, in order not to be caught up by Ye Ling, Huixiener can be said to have put all her strength into it. Finally, yesterday, Huixiener's Earth Blue Dragon successfully broke through to the 1st level and 8th level. She also successfully broke through to the 1st level and 8th level. Compared to before, she has become even stronger. Episode 30. Huixiener spent almost the same amount of time as Ye Ling in the past 2 days, staying outdoors all the time, all for the sake of a breakthrough. The pressure brought by Ye Ling made Huixiener do this involuntarily. Originally, with her original strength, she could easily enter the top-level Imperial Spirit Academy, and her father Hu Qingshan said that the representative sent by Xuanwu Imperial Spirit Academy this time was from the main family of the Hu family in the Holy City. In addition, Huixiener herself is a genius, so it is equivalent to Huixiener being a student of Xuanwu Imperial Spirit Academy. Of course, this does not mean taking the back door. It is that Huixiener herself is a genius, but it just happens that there are people from the Hu family in Xuanwu Imperial Spirit Academy. Huixiener still needs to take the assessment and get at least the top 10 in the assessment assessment before she can be selected into Xuanwu Imperial Spirit Academy. If she fails to enter the top 10, it will be a great pity. Even if the representative of Xuanwu Yuling Academy was Ye Ling, there was no mercy. Seeing that she couldn't find Ye Ling, Xianer felt a little disappointed, but soon, she regained her spirits, because she believed that Ye Ling must be stronger now. Although there were many geniuses in the senior class, Xianer didn't know why she thought Ye Ling would definitely be in the top 10. As for why she was so sure, Xianer herself didn't know. Perhaps it was because the strength shown by Xueyu that day gave Xianer a certain amount of confidence. Seeing such a big scene at such a close distance for the first time, each student was excited and a little worried. The whole square seemed noisy. Standing at the back of the class, Ye Ling didn't make a sound throughout the whole process. His eyes swept over the representatives on the stage. Among these representatives, the weakest were all 5th level teachers. That's right, even the weakest low-level Yuling Academy had representatives with 5th level strength. You have to know that in Tianhui City, the patriarchs of those second-rate families are only at the 5th level at best. From this, we can see how rich the foundation of each Yuling Academy is. Quiet. Hearing the noisy noise below, Shang Lingkong frowned and shouted. A powerful momentum instantly overwhelmed the sky and the earth. As soon as the voice fell, the originally noisy square suddenly became quiet. Surprisingly quiet, without a single sound. It was not because these students learned their lesson in an instant, but because they were forced to shut up under Shang Lingkong's powerful momentum. Ye Ling, who was standing at the back, could also feel the heaviness coming from his body. It was as if he was carrying a heavy thing on his body. However, this feeling soon disappeared. Shang Lingkong just wanted a quiet environment and did not want to hurt these students. Some of these people are future talents of the Federation, and they are from Radiant City, so he will not hurt these students. The quiet environment instantly made Shang Lingkong nod slightly. Obviously, he was quite satisfied with such an environment. Then, Shang Lingkong began to talk about the assessment of the Imperial Spirit Academy. I don't need to introduce the people behind me, they are representatives from various Imperial Spirit Academy in the Federation. Whether you can enter the Imperial Spirit Academy depends on them. Now let's talk about the content of the exam, which is divided into 2 parts. Then there was a lot of long speeches. Shang Lingkong would talk about the assessment every year. If it were an ordinary person, he might have been bored a long time ago. But Shang Lingkong didn't mean to be bored at all. Because in his opinion, what he was doing now was for the future of the Federation and to be able to resist monsters. After a long while, Shang Lingkong finally made the content of the assessment clear. At the same time, Shang Lingkong took out a watch. This teleportation watch will be your only way to survive once you think you can't hold on. Press the button on the watch. Wait a moment, and you will be teleported out. Remember, this is a means of saving your life no matter what the reason is. As long as you press the emergency button above, you will lose the qualification to take the exam. Do you remember it clearly? At the end, Shang Lingkong suddenly yelled. Suddenly the voice became so loud that many students below were shocked. I understand. XN. The students who came back to their senses shouted loudly. Facing the student's majestic appearance, Shang Lingkong nodded with satisfaction. At the same time, he waved his hand lightly, and a large wave of soldiers came. He walked in, holding the watch Shang Lingkong had just mentioned. According to the class distribution, each person got a watch, and everyone received one. Looking down at the watch, Ye Ling found that there was a strange power on the watch. Although he didn't quite understand what this power was, Ye Ling guessed that it was probably related to the function of the watch. This strange power should be the power that helped the students who pressed the SOS button to be teleported back.